seen. When decrypted, these messages often turn out to be some sort of joke or reference to something that happened during the episode, or even something that will happen in an upcoming episode. Series creator Alex Hirsch is the one who creates all the ciphers and usually includes them at the very end of production. The cryptograms uses quite a few different encryption methods. First we have the Caesar cipher, which in this case offset the alphabet by 3 characters. So A becomes D, B becomes E, C becomes F, and so on. The next one is called Atbash cipher, and it simply reverses the alphabet. Then we have the A1Z26 cipher, which replaces each character in the alphabet with the corresponding number of its position. So A becomes 1 and Z becomes 26, thereof the name as well. The Vigenère cipher uses a random word as a key to encrypt the message. So, say the message we want to encrypt is Lemino watches Gravity Falls. We then pick a random keyword, so let's say Dipper. We repeat this keyword until it matches the length of the message, like so, and then use something called the Vigenère square. The first letter of the message is L, which means the row that begins with L. And the first letter of the keyword string is D, which means the column that begins with D. Row L and column D intersect at O, so the first letter of the cryptogram is O. Then you repeat this process for each letter, and just like that, you have a secret message. If you want clues to solve the many ciphers, they can actually be found in the opening sequence of every episode. If you play the intro in reverse, you'll hear someone whisper something. 3 letters back. 3 letters back. And it's not always the same, as the whisper changes as the ciphers change in the show. Switch A and Z. 26 letters. Key Visionary. Oh, and you can also see Bigfoot if you pause at the right frame. If you ever thought Regular Show, Adventure Time and Gravity Falls seemed a bit similar at times, it's not that strange considering that the 3 creators all know each other. J.G. Quintel, Pendleton Ward and Alex Hirsch all went to Cal Arts together and also worked on the Marvelous Misadventures of Flapjack together before creating their own respective shows. When Alex Hirsch and his friends were still in school at Cal Arts, they knew a guy named Jesus Chambreau. They knew he was a few years older than them, but not his exact age. He jokingly became this sort of mysterious person that they knew, but at the same time kinda didn't. This brought on the inspiration to create the character Zeus in Gravity Falls. Grunkle Stan is also based on a real person, namely Alex's grandfather, also named Stan. Even Dipper and Mabel are loosely based on Alex and his twin sister Ariel. For example, just like Mabel in the show, Alex's sister used to love boy bands, had an assortment of vibrant sweaters, and was in general quite goofy and crazy as a child. Throughout the show, you might have noticed a number showing up again and again. The number 618. This is the birthday of Alex Hirsch and his twin sister. Some examples are the Mystery Shack's address, every cash register you can find. The first page of Journal 3 is dated June 18. When Bill gets angry during one episode, you'll see a bunch of symbols flashing inside his eye. The 3rd, 4th and 5th are Thai numerals that spell out 6, 1 and 8. Even the main production code for each episode begins with this number. The creator has even appeared as himself a few times. In the opening sequence, the bottom half of his face can be seen in one of the photos. He's seen riding a unicycle in one episode known simply as Alex the Clown. In one episode, a photo of him can be seen with the text Who written in red, and in another he appears on the front cover of a magazine. The name Dipper comes from acne. Well, sort of, at least. When Alex Hirsch went to high school, there was a kid with extreme amounts of acne, and he took pleasure in imagining that the acne was stars, and thus mapped out constellations between them. One day, the kid supposedly had a perfect cluster that looked like the Big Dipper on his forehead, and thus the Dipper got his name and even the constellation itself in the form of a birthmark on his forehead. The name Dipper is just a nickname though, and Dipper's real name has never officially been revealed, but Quentin Tremblay in the show calls him Roderick, and writer Jeff Rowe has said that his real name is Lamanic, but it's unclear if it was simply a joke or not. Many characters in the show have some form of symbol that is in some way related to them. For example, Mabel has a rainbow with a star on her most frequently used shirt. Dipper has a blue pine tree on his hat. Stan has a yellow crescent shape on his vest. Robbie has a red bleeding heart with stitches on his hoodie, and Zeus has the iconic question mark on his shirt. These 5 symbols can all be found within the so-called Bill Cipher Wheel. It's displayed very briefly at the end of the opening sequence as well as within Journal 2. The other 5 symbols are a bit more ambiguous. The glasses are all but confirmed to represent Stan's brother Ford, also known as the author of the journals. The bag of ice could perhaps be a reference to Dipper, Wendy or any of her friends, as Dipper has been made to fetch ice for them on several occasions. But as Dipper and Robbie already have symbols on the wheel and Wendy's friends are quite minor characters, it's at least most likely a reference to Wendy. The star is most likely a reference to Gideon Gleeful, but could also be a reference to his father, Bud Gleeful. The 6-fingered hand is obviously a symbol for the journals, but the author Ford Pines already has a symbol on the wheel, so this is a bit of a mystery so far. Maybe it's simply a reference to the journals themselves. I mean, there's nothing to say that the symbols has to represent a person. The llama has so far been seen off one of Mabel's sweaters and on a painting inside Northwest Mansion, which could reference really anyone in the Northwest family. But again, as Mabel already has a symbol on the wheel and most of the Northwest family are minor characters, it's most likely a reference to Pacifica. There's tons of theories out there as to what this could mean and who the symbols are supposed to represent, but so far this is all we can say for certain. In the episode Dreamscapers, Gideon falls to his knees and begins chanting some incomprehensible phrase over and over again. If you play this scene in reverse, you'll hear what he's actually saying.
Backwards message.
Both Dipper and Mabel were born at the end of the summer in 1999. In the show they are both 12 years old, and as the show takes place over the course of one single summer, it means their childhood will come to an end with the end of the series. Gravity Falls creator said that summer used to feel endless to him when he was a child, so the length of the summer in Gravity Falls is more emotional than logical. It's supposed to illustrate one long, insane, seemingly eternal summer before they have to return home, leaving behind not only Gravity Falls but also their childhood.